Everybody texting, huh? Okay, you guys ready? Go.
Oh, sure. Can you start by talking about the release of Poe and Worley?
Yes. I mean, it was definitely a decision made based on performance and giving other players, particularly the younger players, opportunity.
I believe Jerry said that there was some frustration that Poe was nothing to address it. Was that your view on it as well?
I mean, really, my view is, based on evaluation, going through everything each and every day. I mean, you look at all the variables involved in what it takes for players to be successful. But, I mean, at the end of the day, we feel that this decision gives a number of guys more opportunities. And we need to, we want to feel the impact of particularly some of these young guys getting more snaps. So that's the direction I'm going.
Mike, yesterday when you mentioned the defensive ends that would get in the mix now. Who are the guys that you're looking to replace Poe and Worley, the young guys kind of moving in?
Well, it's more the number of reps. I mean, we're not adding players, so it's just to give the younger players up front. Obviously, Gallimore and Antoine Woods definitely need to get more opportunities. I mean, that's those are the two guys that will definitely benefit from this move.
Was it a misevaluation in the offseason? I think like some deep additions, phrases and additions are no longer with this team, and obviously these two are part of that situation. Was it just a misevaluation on these free agents?
I think anytime in this business you're always looking to improve the overall roster. I mean, it's frankly a common message that I talk about. We have 70 players here, and it takes everybody. So to start picking apart, why this guy was signed or when this guy was signed, at the end of the day, it's what the whole group does.
Mike Zeke and Zach Martin both talked yesterday about Ben DiNucci having some swag and some energy in that huddle. How did you see that in practice, and what kind of confidence does that give you for Sunday if Andy's not available?
Well, I mean, you see right away, Ben doesn't lack confidence. You could just in the way he plays, the way he steps into the huddle. So, that's definitely a characteristic trait that he brings to the table. So, I mean, it's important. But frankly, that's the first step. It's important to continue to play with confidence, during the bumpy times. And, his first responsibility is to make sure he has total command, and he's doing a really nice job of that.
You anticipating Xavier Woods being back at practice today?
Yes. Xavier Woods will be back today. He had a personal situation that he definitely needed to be attending to.
Will Andy Dalton be allowed to take part in the position group and the quarterback meetings, and I assume he's not going to be able to practice today?
Yes, Andy's been in all the meetings today. Actually just came from the quarterback meeting.
But he won't practice today, correct?
He will not practice today.
When you have a guy, if DiNucci has to play, I don't know where you stand on like wristbands for guys. I mean, everything's so new to him. Is that an option for him just to make sure he's calling the play correctly?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm not, stuck on, a guy playing with the wristband or without it. I've done it long enough to know. I mean, I obviously was in the league when everything was hand signals. So you do whatever you have to do to make sure the communication network from the boundary to the huddle is clean. So yeah, I'm not opposed to anything, but with the headsets, I think we're in good shape.
How much of a difference does it make to have a week for a young guy like that to have the week versus getting thrown in the way he was last weekend?
Oh, I mean, it definitely makes a difference. I think, you prepare as a starter anytime you're a backup. I mean, that's your job responsibility. That's part of it. But to get all the reps in practice, it definitely heightens your heightens the opportunity to play with a little more awareness and more expectation on what's coming. You know, you get more reps at seeing the defense and things like that. So yeah, definitely, I think it helps. I think stating the obvious, it helps any player to get all the prep reps, you know, going into the game.
You've mentioned, and some of the other players mentioned, his mobility. He has some pretty good mobility and can run a little bit. A lot of times you don't want a quarterback to run too much, but is that a conversation for later in a guy's development versus where he is now, just being thrown in? I mean, is it, look, what you see, whatever you feel comfortable doing in the moment, you have to do. How do you address that?
No, I think that's an excellent point. I mean, because Ben has, I think, a lot more movement ability than people realize. You know, I go back to when the rookies first arrived and going through the conditioning segment. I mean, he was posting numbers 21 mile an hour, you know, running in some of the drills, and obviously was very impressive, very impressive in the condition that he came into training camp. So there's a lot of ability there. But at the end of the day, you know, we're getting ready to play a very aggressive defense. We obviously anticipate a lot of defenders, you know, close to the line of scrimmage, and we'll do what we feel that we need to do accordingly, in our game plan, how we're going to attack that. But yeah, I would definitely say Ben's movement skills is definitely an asset.
Can you talk about the decision to get Cooper Rush back into the pipeline here? And maybe on the practice squad, the decision and thinking behind that? Yeah, I mean,
Cooper went through the virtual meetings with us, and Cooper's someone that, Kellen Moore is fond of. So, I mean, I think it's a natural, move just to make, enhance the quarterback room. And so he'll be part of it next week. Because, he has to go through the COVID protocol and so forth.
Chuck, you're 2-5. You win this week, and you're in first place in the NFC East. Is that still your message to the team? Everything's still in front of you?
Well, the facts of the matter, everything is still in front of us. I'm focused on what I normally am focused on, and it's about improvement. You have to improve each and every week, especially when you get into October. You can see around the league, teams start to separate themselves. So I don't take I don't spend a whole lot of time on the big picture. Frankly, I think it's a waste of time. The only time I talk about it is when I have to answer questions about it. I think it's important for your football team to focus on what's most important, and that's play style and fundamentals. That's been our point all week. And we need to improve that as we exercise our plan to beat Philadelphia. So I get all the scenarios, but they really don't mean anything until you get to the end. So I think it's important to put all your time and energy into your play style and your fundamentals, especially on your padded work day today. So that's part of my message to the team.
You talked about in the past the research and thought that you put into how you structure the practice week, getting back to your time in Green Bay. Given the trend of slow starts, is that something that you take a look at, seeing whether or not you tweak how you structure the practice week, or is that something that's off the table?
God.
Someone didn't like the question, huh?
I think it was that bad.
I just wanted that wasn't me. So, Jesus. I forgot I got the question. I think there's more that goes into what you do at practice and the analytics or GPS and all the components you look at. But I think pointing to the slow starts, I think it's like anything. You have so much time, you have so much reps. How much time and how many of those reps are you spending on your first calls? The first calls on offense go in on we start that process on Fridays and then we really hit it again hard on Saturdays. More so similar process with the defense. So that's where I would put my time and energy anytime I feel any aspect of situational football is not where it needs to be. That's how I would tweak the schedule. But it's, I think the other factors are you have to watch your football team, their workload capacity, and so forth. And I've learned from the past. I've made, I've practiced the team probably. I've practiced the team too much, too long, in my prior opportunity. So we're practicing not as long, but with a much more higher level of efficiency and energy right now. So, I mean, those are things you learn as you go through this league.
Mike, Randy Gregory's acclimation period had him working into practice later than most of the team, of course. Are there questions from a football standpoint that you still want Randy to answer to show the team what he's capable of, or is this part of the gradual acclimation in terms of his snap count?
When you say questions, like in meetings and answering questions, or I'm not sure what questions are.
Do you feel like you understand what he can add to the team on the field despite the late acclimation into group drills?
Definitely. I mean, he's been working here for quite some time, so I understand it. His first opportunity was last week, but we've been together for quite some time, and frankly, I was pulling up a clip from I guess it would have been 2015. Green Bay and Dallas. It was a particular scheme, and he was in the clip, playing defense. I guess that would have been his rookie year. So I mean, I don't feel